Good morning. This is recap of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13, Episode 13, Henny, I Shrunk the Drag Queens. So, it looks like it's going to be a 15 episode season, which is, wow, that's a lot. I'm going to say right off the bat, I think if you watch my other recaps, you get this, which is I am not a big fan of Candy's performance in this season. I feel like there's been some mismatch between the judges, what the judges are seeing and what we're seeing. But I don't hate her. I don't wish her unwell. I don't wish anything bad coming upon her. I don't blame her. The fact that they're not judging her, I think, consistent with the others, is not her fault. She's there to compete. She's competing. They like her. That's not her fault. I can still have problems with the judging without actually hating her, disliking her. And I say that because I feel like there's two really strong camps. There's people who are like, I hate Candy, I hope she dies, I'm gonna harass her and her friends. And then there's like Camp Candy, who's like anyone who disagrees with her is bitter and wrong and racist. And not to say that there isn't racism in the community, but it seems to be very much these two camps. And it's like, I don't agree with the judging. I don't blame her for that. I feel that she deserves to be on Drag Race. I feel like maybe there were some contestants who went earlier than her, but that doesn't mean, you know what I mean? So like I feel like I'm kind of between these two camps. So I'm saying that now, and I'm clarifying because I do have criticism for Candy this episode. But I don't wish her, if she had a local show, I would go, and I wouldn't feel hypocritical about that because she's still a great performer, even if I don't think she deserves to be like the winner of this season. Anyway, I just say that. The sneak peek was late. If you don't know, they put the sneak peek like the first 10, 5, 10, depending on the episode, minutes sneak peek up on Wednesday, and I checked all day Wednesday to win up Thursday. So we're down to the top 5. They're going to do an acting challenge in front of a green screen. They have 5 characters: mean, smart, snarky, whiny, dumb. And everybody kind of goes for the character that they've been doing. Olivia goes for dumb, which is sort of a persona that she's done, like innocent, naive. Whiny goes to Got Mick, who is the character that she's done a lot with, sort of the, it's not the Paris Hilton character, because Paris Hilton wasn't whiny, but it's so close. It's a very similar voice. We have Snarky, which was Rosé, which is also sort of Rosé's character, a little snarky, snappy, smart mouth. And then there's the mean character, the villain, and then there's like the smart character, and both Candy and Simone want to go for the mean character. And they ended up, it kind of looks like Simone kind of went, but everyone ended up doing a character. There was a lot of criticism back and forth between, like, Olivia's doing the same voice, Candy's doing the same voice, Gottmik's doing the same voice, Rosé's doing, they all did it. They all did it. So yeah, I mean, you can point fingers, but they all did a variation on a character they've done before. And, in real life, that happens. You think Chris Farley was he played the same kind of guy. David Spade, he played the same kind of guy. Yeah, there are actors who can do a lot. Will Ferrell in Stranger Than Fiction did something. But most actors kind of find a groove when they do it. Adam Sandler, I should probably be mentioning some. Will Smith has a lot more range, so I'm not going to box him in with just characters. But a lot of people, oh gosh, what's his name from The Hangover does the same character, who's on The Masked Singer, I can picture, was a doctor. Anyway, a lot of people do the same character over and over again. So they're doing a green screen. Simone is really struggling. We get to hear that, I didn't know this, that she was in the House of Avalon, which is the house that Gigi is in. And they seem to be having a very similar trajectory. Incredible fashion, must be something big in their house. Starts out really strong. A little bit of hiccups toward the end, which is also what we saw with Gigi. Nothing bad, stumbles, not face plants. So a lot of pressure. So anyway, we have Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost, who it seems like a lot of people didn't know. Colin Jost is one of the head writers for Saturday Night Live and does Weekend Update with Michael Shea. Has for a while. They're married. She came in and gave them some advice. Question. Oh, they did a highlight of Olivia going, question? Can I ask a question? So they do all this acting. Everyone's, like I said, everyone's doing what they've done before. So however you feel about that, it either applies to everyone or no one. Candy's doing the same voice she's done. Gottmik's doing the same voice. They're all doing it. So them doing a character that they've always done is less to me an issue as it is how well did they pull it off. And Olivia just didn't seem to play. To Olivia, I was surprised that they gave Candy a hard time because I feel like they criticized her on things that have been present the whole season and they only mentioned it now. And it's a disservice to her. It doesn't help her. When it's the same thing that you found endearing all season, suddenly you have a problem with. It's not really consistent judging, and I think she was really, her feet were knocked out underneath her. I'm kind of jumping around. Because she hadn't received this criticism before. As a viewer, I felt like it was fair criticism, but it's also something I've seen all season. So we get a little bit of background on everyone's journey, role models they had growing up, all that. And then we have Hope Pockets. Simone is a pocket. Olivia Lux just has a cocktail dress with big pockets. Rosé does sort of a mod pockets with a reveal to even more pockets. Candy's doll jacket. Oh, she wanted to be a doll. And then the outfit was just pockets. Not as easy to read for me. And then Gottmik was a reference to like a flasher. So if you don't, so it's kind of like a flasher look, and then you open up, it's like a wanna buy a watch. Sort of, I don't know if those people even exist anymore, but that was like a running joke. I know when I was a kid, and a lot of different, it was a running joke that I saw a lot. I personally never saw it, a guy open up a thing and say, wanna buy a watch. But it was always in media growing up. Anyway, so then they do the thing. People really hated on this challenge. I thought it was a perfectly fine acting challenge. I thought, I don't know, people really had a problem with it on Twitter. I didn't have that much of a problem. It was kind of on par with a typical acting challenge. So I don't know what the issue was. Anyway, I thought Simone did much better than they showed in the practice. In the practice, it was like, all these problems, and I watched it and I was like, I don't really see any of these problems. And people are like, oh, she's doing the same character. Yeah, so does Bianca. Bianca does that character and everything. And Trixie kind of does that character. It's kind of weird. It's I think one of the odd things about this idea of always doing the same thing is, one, is it always funny? If it's always funny, then just keep doing it. Is that they are individuals playing a character, a drag character. They all talk about how drag is that's their persona, and there's areas where it overlaps with themselves, and there's areas where it doesn't overlap with themselves, where they're putting on sort of their superhero costume. And then you're acting those drag characters to then do a character. It's like, yeah, there's going to be some consistency because, you know, it's very much like a Snatch Game, in that Snatch Game is hard because you're playing a character doing something else. And so I don't know. I don't get all of the criticism. Anyway, Rosé wins. Totally fair. I kind of felt like everyone was broken into good and bad, and I felt like that Rosé was in the top, so that was fine with me. It's weird because in a way, this episode felt like judging that I had seen with my eyes as a viewer the whole season. So acknowledging Rosé for stuff that I felt like if she had done that same performance in a different season, in a different episode, like episode 4, they would have said that was a safe performance. And they criticized Candy and her look, which I feel like if it had been episode 3, they would have praised it. So it's kind of a weird thing to me because on one hand, I don't disagree with the judging, but it seems inconsistent with the rest of the season. But my issue is with the rest of the season, not this one. Anyway, Candy and Olivia lip sync. I barely watched, and I don't mean that derogatorily, but Olivia has been in the bottom several times, has lip synced several times. You're not winning. You're not winning this lip sync unless the other person does not know the words. So I watched. It was a good lip sync. No one really fell on their face in terms of like, did someone eat up the other one? I don't know, because I've said before, I don't super watch these things. But Olivia goes home. Olivia was adorable, beautiful, has only been doing drag for about a year, so this is a huge accomplishment to get this far. But I'm okay with her going home. I felt like, I felt like it was the right time in terms of who's left. Okay, they all ask who should go home. Olivia almost didn't say anyone. I thought she wasn't going to say anyone or herself. Eventually does say Candy. Candy does not freak out this time. I think it's kind of a, you know, does have a panic attack, that or thinks she's having a panic attack. Her blood pressure is definitely high, and I do feel for her, and I think that part of this is the result of, if you do something all season and they love it all season and they give you no critiques, and then they kind of 180 on those critiques and they give you different critiques, yeah, it's going to give you a little bit of whiplash. So I did feel for her in that, I felt like if they had been giving her this feedback subtly over the course consistently with what we were seeing, she could have course corrected at this point, but it was a big like turn. So that's my thought on the seasons, on the season so far. I think, I don't know, it's going to be a real bummer if, I feel like if Simone, Gottmik, or Rosé went home next. It looks like we have one more. We have the Rue song, and then I'm guessing after that is the finale, because we didn't have any like whose team are you on. And so I think it's probably based on the judging that I've seen. I think it's really likely that Candy will stay. And I don't know, based on the trajectory so far, I think Simone's the most in trouble. I think Simone should make it to the finals, but based on the judging over the past couple episodes, has the most precarious track record at this point, which is a little bit of like, it's a little bit like slipping down a mountain, where you are in your last challenge kind of affects the next challenge and the last two challenges. So I think she deserves to go. So I'm not saying this is what I think needs to happen. I'm just saying that if Candy makes it into the finale, I think Simone might be out. Another one might be Rosé, because Rosé's done so well, totally deserves to go, but was in, lost the initial challenge. And of course, Gottmik could totally bomb as well. I mean, so it's kind of open to anyone's game. I would like, and I would say that it deserves to be Rosé, Gottmik, and Rosé, Gottmik, and Simone. Sorry, all of a sudden I blanked. Okay, I'll see you next week. I guess we have 2 weeks left. Bye.